One and all, this is about to be a showcase of brand spanking new units. In fact, if it's not, I don't know why I'm going to bother to upload it, because we're checking in on good old Fei-chan. That's right, guys. Fei-chan that historically loves to do one unit comps. And yeah, so Fei-chan, who historically likes to do one unit comps, with talking about a person who will sit there just spamming Magadai all game. And I'm wondering what the plan is today, Faye. She's up against Louis MT from Team Elephant playing as HRE. I'm fear crafting for this. So Faye, where does she want to go? Does she want to try and duke it out against the OP broken Black Riders? At least that's what I've heard. In which case you could be going to the hyper late game. If you go into the hyper late game, what do you do there? There's no way she's going to try to build Condottiero, right? That is the infantry unit that is anti-gunpowder, because those things just can't catch a flu, let alone catch a Black Rider. So maybe instead she looks to kind of peek in the mid game. I'm wondering, actually, is Faye an axe enjoyer? Let me ask you this question. Are you an enjoyer of axes? Or is Faye a bit more like me and likes to hospitalier it up? You know? Because everyone in this game wants to play war, right? It's like full War of the Roses right now. Someone's got to play the nurse. And Hospitalier have proven to be quite fun. I think they would be interesting in this matchup. I'm not sure if they'd be totally worth it just because HRE have heavy maces. So probably what we're going to be seeing out of Faye is either French or axes. Other side, Louis, I wonder, is there a world in which he does mine work? Probably not, because your opponent could have heavy cav. I don't know if you really want to be doing mine work here. The full process, guys, is actually that mine work is a lot better now, because of the arrival of Cistercian churches, which allows you to turn monasteries into mini Arcan chapels. With that change, you're actually not shackled to Arcan Chapel like you used to be. Obviously, Arcan still has a great spike in the middle of Castle Age, whereas mine work is more focused on Feudal and now far in Imperial. So, like, it's all about checks and balances of where you want to try to peak here. I imagine, given Knights Templars focus around the relics and sacred sites with the timings, Louis probably looking for a kind of a semi-fast... Oh, no, it's not semi-fast castle at all. We're getting 2 TC. And it is going to be a good old Arcan. Okay, so is this 2 TC in reaction to Faye going 2 TC? He did scout it, so I think, yeah, he caught a glimpse of the mining camp play. This is reactionary to the fact that most Knights Templar players right now, guys, are going to be doing the 2 TC opener. There's a very efficient play to go into this, and it makes a lot of sense because when you tech, you are sacrificing 3 villages going into Feudal. It's normally 45 beyond, but Feudal Age techs are 1 minute, and then Castle and Imperial Age techs are 45 respectively. Yeah, so you lose a lot less eco further down the line, but at this stage, 3 villages is just, quite frankly, bonkers. 3 villages at this stage is 15% of your economy. So there's a lot to give up. Faye, I think she's about to surrender it over. What's it going to be? Wait, did she delay, maybe? Oh, you could actually kind of delay slightly. But she is an axe enjoyer. Okay. Something to keep in mind, though, is with 2TC, I don't know if you can really utilize Principality of Antioch well in Feudal Age. Because one thing I've noticed about the Surgeons, which are the axe throwers that you get as Knights Templar, they're very tempo-based. If you don't start scaling them immediately, it's very hard to actually maintain control of the game, it feels like. The other thing to keep in mind here, you theoretically could argue you've got a longer Feudal pull when you go 2TC. The logic being you'll secure deer or something else. But I have a feeling that maybe Faye's utilizing Principality of Antioch mainly for the buff. It's not about the unit, it's about the fact that all melee units gain 10% damage, which is very, very handy when you start rushing into Knights Brothers in Castle Age. The Axe Boys are ranged melee, meaning they snipe rams. Yeah, but why does that matter unless you're getting rammed? like I can do you one better, Faye. You don't even need to build rams. You just build more Axe Boys because they can kill buildings. Oh no, they built an outpost? Anyway, frozen axe. And looks like it's going to be straight into safe passage, so no time wasted there at all. Oh, and Freya has brought me a flower. Thank you, Freya. Yeah, you go play now. Honestly, when she opens the door, she's like, Daddy! I'm like, oh no, what does she want half the time? So Pilgrims are on the way. Louis does a great job of scouting this straight away, by the way. I wonder if he opens with 2 or 3 horsemen just to shut this down. It's kind of worth it, actually, the amount of denial you give. Because then you force your opponent into spears and you just play into archers, which is, I feel like, always great for HRE. And you'd think that Knights Templar would be good for an archer race, but it's a bit weird. KT versus HRE. Like, HRE will have a lot of bark and buff in the early point. Later on, Knights Templar will definitely feel better for archer spam, just because of the fact they get 20% food when they gather wood. So we are going to get the drop on the deer. Me and Micah tried to ram you and you snipe them. Oh, dude, I don't, like, I think, I'll agree that if someone goes anti-oc, they're potentially anti-ram. I don't think they're entirely anti-ram, though, and here's why. If, for example, an English player ram rushes you as Knights Templar, I genuinely feel like going Sergeants is a death sentence. Because longbows will just destroy you. So, you know, you have to kind of see the forest through the tree. That is an insanely tight TC. What? Okay. A little bit surprised that Louis does this. I guess his thought process is he doesn't want to have to worry about his economy. Because he wants to full aggro. We are going to get a Spitman opening. Faye is not... Stop. No, you stop right now. I'm warning you. Look, Faye, we tuned into your games to watch Memology 101 develop. We want to see a unit highlight. I want to be able to see 100 Sergeants. I want to be able to see 200 Knights Brothers. You know, like, I want to see 120 Slatshepta cavalry charging over the hill. I don't want to see ATC. This is not an Abbasid game. Oh, for God's sake. She's going to turn it into one. So, free TC. I think this is in reaction to the fact she scouted the secondary TC of Louis, if I'm not mistaken. So... Oh my god, is this the meta we're returning to? I will genuinely install Battle Aces if this is the way we're going. I mean, it's good. It is actually good that we got rid of Pro Scouts. I think Pro Scouts in its previous format was way too good. But if all we're going to do is return to, oh, you 2 TC'd, I'm going to free TC. Oh, you free TC'd, I'm going to 4 TC. See? I'm going to flush my head down a toilet. Looks like Spitman are on the way. Good choice by Louis. It's a very cheap budgeted approach to dealing with the Pilgrims initially because of the fact you have the extra movement speed. And you get a few extra faster than, say, going Horsemen, so you can actually just consistently body block. Free TC Axe Boys defend me if they ram. I feel like 2 TC Axe Boys does that anyway. I am not buying what you're selling. There isn't even a Rax in anticipation of this crap. And he's already built spears against you. You're not fooling me. Nice denial. Actually stopped the Pilgrim just before he reached. Great micro there from Louis. And now we just rinse and repeat. Okay, but guys, what if Faye had done this as a bait? This isn't coping. Think about it. She spent 300 resources, and so far Louis MT has invested in a Rax for 150 and 6 Spearmen for 480. So Louis is over, like, double the investment at this point the scaling is doing to block it. And this just feels like bait. Bait is starting to stockpile a bit of wood. Maybe we... I don't think we see Raxes. I genuinely think this is Castle Rush. What's the play to get out of the problem here in Castle? Genoese crossbowman? I like winning. And you can't generate Pilgrim gold if you can't Pilgrim. So... No, there's no way you do Angevin Empire against HRE, surely. Because, like, HRE have heavy maces. It's the same logic as why you don't go Knights Templar into Hospitalier, right? So if you go Hospitalier, you're going to have heavily armored units. Same with Angevin. I guess you do just go Genoa and try to recap. Because your opponent's spamming spears. I don't really feel like you want to go for Terma here. As in the genital. Okay, Rax has already been prepped. Maybe we are going to be seeing a little bit of tossing going on here. Any big tosses in the chat? This guy's feeling like a right toss right now. I wonder, Louis MT, we're not going to be seeing any experimentation with the new Burgrave, are we? No, I think we're going to be seeing classic Regnates. He already went triple Prelate. This is the cool thing actually about 2TC HRE. It enables you to be ready for that semi-fast castle into immediate mass Prelate pull. And we do have Sergeants. Okay, so Faye, I guess you're just looking to tech them up so they're more advantageous. In fact, Faye, did this happen before or after the hotfix? I think this happened after the hotfix. So this was after the Sergeants got an extra 10 HP increase. And there you go, Regnates is... How many Pilgrims? That's 4 now. 4 Pilgrims. 4 Pilgrims trusted their life to you, Faye. And apparently you want more to fall for the debatiness of it. Republic of Genoa. Wait, has Faye even tried switching? I don't think she has. No, she hasn't tried switching the other side. Admittedly, that would get seen immediately by Louis, but it's at least worth the deviation. Keep your opponent dancing around the map. Kind of an unfortunate spawn, I'd say. Like, it's almost like you want this sacred site down here towards where the fat gold is to have a wider arc. And whoa, boys, whoa. It's okay, guys. They mitigate 50% damage. Oh, wait, there's a lot of spears. It's about to be a lot of axes. Oh, yes. I don't want to see a single Genoesian crossbowman. Waste of space. Just sergeants all the way. We've got sergeants heroes over here. Infectancy already queued up. Only 30 seconds away. Pretty quick on that tech, actually. It's just always about the Pilgrims. Oh, no. Nice pin. Louis is ready for the tech up. So he sees sergeants. I imagine we're going to be looking at a stable switch here. Do you do stables or do you straight go crossbows? Because the thought here is if your opponent is showing sergeant spam, he's building heavy units. Crossbows counter that. The other thing is if you go knights now, your opponent can just switch spears. So I feel... Wait, he's just going Imperial Age. This is going to be Black Riders. Wait, does that work against Sergeant? I mean, it should work against Sergeants. I'm just thinking of the Zerg. Because remember, Black Riders are incredibly hard-hitting ranged cavalry units. So they are gunpowder units. They hit for, I believe, 45 damage it was. And they even have armor. So the throwing axes damage is going to be heavily reduced. And I think it is an Elsbach. I mean, you could technically justify Pasta Swabber at only 60 economy, but I feel like we're looking at Elsbach here for the Riders. Because remember, yeah, there you go, boom. Elsbach it is. We have got 13-minute Imperial Age Elsbach. I am not memeing. I did just say that out loud. Welcome to Fair Games. Louis MT wants the gunners. He's going to need them fast. I think my one worry here is the Black Riders are not quick to produce. They take, I believe it's 35 seconds, like a knight in a hand cannon. Yeah, I think it is. And you can only build 8 of them upon tech up, remember. The Elsbach, it does something interesting, is that instead of you basically getting 5 valid Black Rider slots per keep, you get 8. And the Elsbach is included in that calculation, so you immediately get access to 8 of them. There you go, 35 seconds. 300 resources for these things, though. Okay, right now, Faye is probably molding about the movement speed on HRE. It's like, these guys should be dead. They should be dead. Why are they not dead? If you go Swabby, you can't train them until you have 1 keep. Exactly. But the logic is Swabby is going to give you an insane influx of villages. So the logic is then you can just put all those villages to work. You get a delayed timing of Black Rider access, but your secondary wave of Black Riders will be quicker because the extra villagers gathering on stone. So like it's a balance check of what you want to do. Louis, though, is in a pretty good position to start Black Rider spamming. He can't get the 5th relic. That's safely behind Faye's lines. What is this game? Oh my god. And here come the sergeants. Reminder, these guys will destroy buildings. Right now there is 15 of them. That means they hit for... What's that end up being? 180? Yeah, 180 damage per round of attack onto a building. Onto a building, guys. I'm not exaggerating. Look. Knock, knock! It's a lumberjack axe that they threw. I knew it. Basically foreshadowing it. Oh, welcome to the future, guys. This isn't a foreign concept to Age of, by the way. Age of Mythology has this with the these Huskars. No, not Huskars. It's the axe throwers for the Norse factions. Like, this is not the first time this has been added to an Age of game by many years. The MT thought Black Rider is not that good in 1v1. The problem with Black Riders is scaling them. They're very slow to scale. And they cost more than hand cannon is. In fairness, it is definitely worth the extra 60 resources for the mobility. But then you've got the issue of, like, once again, scale isn't just production time or cost. It's the unforeseen costs, and that's the fact you have to spam keeps. That's where you burn a hole in your pocket. Well, Lou's going to be knocking on the door, but Faye, look at this. Imperial timing, not too bad. Teutonic Order it is. And she is going to be switching into the Teutonic Knights. I wondered if this was just going to be maybe about the buff that you get instead. I love this. This is cool. Because remember, if you go for the Teutonic Order, you get... I'm trying to remember what it was off the top of my head. It's the extra melee armor, right? Yeah, that's interesting. All gold units get 2 extra melee armor, and sergeants cost gold. So these guys now have 7 melee armor, and they haven't even been upgraded yet. And reminder, on top of that, the Teutonic Knights, they may not be great at chasing down, but the reason why Faye's doing this is by having these chunky boys, it gives you a dive point. But even if they're just standing around getting cut by Black Riders, it's going to negate Black Riders' armor by half. Meaning the axe throwers can more easily kill the gunpowder. Yeah, these guys, only 4 tower range, so you are going to be in range of those axe throwers. Alright, 1s if you think Louis going to win this game. 2s if you think that Faye's going to take it. She even now has fortresses coming in. That's going to start generating a lot more gold. That also secures an insane amount of resources. Nice 12,000 gold as well as the boar. Louis is pretty much unshackled when it comes to economy, and we even have got the Cistercian Abbeys. I love this. By the way, am I the only one who feels like it should have been called Cistercian Chapels? But yeah, this is cool, remember. It gives a mini Archon effect. You can see the difference in range here. It's a teensy-beensy bit tiny. So in terms of like the, I guess like if you want the direct comparison, you can kind of check. This is usually where the Cistercian Abbey finishes, as you can see by this. So it's, I think, about 66% of the range, I want to say, roughly. It's pretty good. And reminder, this isn't just for the Regnates. You can just keep building monasteries. So what you have to think about here is, like, it's actually not that expensive when you are replacing a mill with a monastery, which means you're spending 150 wood extra. But then you're able to buff, what, 12 farms at least? By 40%. Uh-oh. Hey. She goes fishing. Meanwhile, there is an attempt to get through the walls beneath the Teutonic Knights. Oh, man. I am a little bit gutted she didn't go for Condottiero, even though I know they would have sucked. But I really wanted to see them. Knock, knock. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this a building? It just seems like target practice. This is pre-upgraded, by the way. She's still got elite tech to get. Another funny reminder for people. This unit does melee damage. It is a melee infantry, which means that elite army tactics does work with it. It also means that melee techs work with it. So going sergeants into Teutonic Knights gives you a very clear and obvious upgrade path into elite army tactics and mass melee blacksmith upgrades. I do not know for the life of me why Louis MT has a trader. We're going to just call that a misclick. Condottiero actually beat Black Riders 1v1? Yeah, but as you just highlighted, that's without micro. That requires an A-click. Otherwise, you can just caracol and run away from them. Oh no! A building with a cannon! Anyway. I think if you staggered formation, you could probably force the E-repairs. It's just not worth it. They're going to go for more kills. Oh my god. Louis MT is 30 villages behind right now. We do have the heavy maces coming in. This is going to be quite impactful. The problem is these men-at-arms aren't actually upgraded yet. They are still just Castle variant. Meanwhile, reminder, these guys, I talked about the fact that elite army tactics works for them. Reminder, they also have that 10% damage increase, which scales with elite army tactics. These units can end up hitting for over 20 damage. Yeah, it's like, I think it ends up being 19. The rest of the army's going to arrive now. Oh, Louis, this is an ill-advised fight, sir. It's like, but I have the Black Riders. Okay, actually, you're fine. The Gunpowder Boys will see you through. Yeah, it turns out that negating armor doesn't really matter when you don't have enough damage. And Faye's like, I see what the problem was. I went melee against HRE. You never go melee against HRE unless your melee is ranged. She's now going into Genoese crossbowmen as well as more so. Okay, so I don't think Genoese crossbowmen are worth it in Imperial Age. They increase their damage by what? Isn't it an increase of like 1 or 2 bonus damage, and like base damage goes up by 2? And their health only goes up by, I think, 10. Yeah, Genoese crossbowmen, like, mathematically don't make sense. And agreed, you do have the special tech, the Craniquins, which is going to give you the extra range and damage. But it feels like without that tech, like, this unit feels very hollow compared to standard elite crossbow. It's like a hand cannoneer. Yeah, but it also isn't. It's a situational hand cannoneer. It has a worse attack speed than hand cannoneers, and worse movement speed, and lower damage. Basically, she's doing it to try and solve the men-at-arms issue. The reason is, like, nothing else makes sense right now unless you want to go standard crossbows. But what Faye's trying to do here is be population efficient. Like, theoretically, you know, yes, these things are better than one crossbowman. But mathematically, cost-wise, is where they suck at it. The logic is, because it's a more expensive, better crossbow in that regard, if you are talking about a limitation of population, it can make sense. Also, I think Genoese crossbow kind of works best with Teuton Order, just because it's such a slow unit, and the other slow unit is one you actually want. The Teutonic Knights are really, really good. Yeah, kind of crazy, actually, what you get for just 180 resources. What's even crazier, Faye, is I did not see any elite army tactics. Wait, why are we proing incendiaries here? Do we not trust in the ways of the Sergeant? Why can't they use the Pavis? I think what people need to remember is the detail here is genuinely more of an identifier. They have the shield, so they can be identified. I would say there is a fair argument that, like, maybe they should have 2 ranged armor base or something. But it's really just so you can tell the difference, which makes sense. What I wouldn't mind is almost like a deployability, I guess. That would actually be interesting. If they had a deployability that increased their fire rate down to, say, 1.62. Maybe that's a little bit too good, or something around, like, 1.9. But they can't move. And they get, say, like, 2 extra ranged armor to stand their ground. That is a very interesting trade-off, because then melee units, horsemen, can gap close and kill you. But you better counter things that you should already counter. Well, big clash is happening on the north side. Hello. This doesn't feel like enough firepower right now for Faye. Yeah, even the negative armor. She has got the fortresses to keep her safe. Southside fight is looking a lot better, though, and that is going to be able to cut off some gathering down here. Gathering that Louis, funnily enough, actually kind of desperately needs. Black Rider spam is not cheap. We do at least have a trickle of Teutonic Knights coming in. This is really good, because if Faye pulls left and the reinforcements come from the southeast, it means that the men-at-arms can be further away. Looks like she is clearing house, though. Funnily enough, killing the Black Riders is going to be a little bit harder than killing the men-at-arms, because you lose your bonus damage there, remember. It's only against melee infantry. Louis doesn't want to lose a damn soul. He doesn't want to lose a fang. I'm not even going to sing that out loud. He's heading back already. We do have additional keeps on the way. He needs to scale up to, like, say, 25, 30 Black Riders to start feeling good about these fights. That's a really expensive investment, actually, guys. You get 8 from the tech-up choice of Elsbach, but then each keep is going to cost you 900 resources. So you're going to spend 1,800 to get up to 24. You see the balance point of this. You know, people are worried this unit is going to be OP. I'm not convinced so far. I think it has its place. I don't know if I'd say it's OP. It does have one thing that feels a little bit busted, guys, and that's if you use Micro and Caracol together, you can essentially Magadai. Because what happens is you basically run towards your opponent, turn around, and you can shoot as you turn around. I'm not even kidding. In fact, if you guys haven't seen, we had a video up on our YouTube which tipped you off on the 5 biggest changes that are going to matter to you guys with Season 10. And that was one of them. The Caracol ability is... Cold now sieging in. We finally have Elite Army Tactics. This is going to be big, actually. So it's going to bring the Sergeants up to almost 200 HP. And the damage is going to be able to scale up to about 16. Oh, and that's going to feel bad for Louis. I just realized he prioritized ranged tech. Yeah, he has 9 ranged armor, but only 6 melee armor. Knock, knock. Oh my god. It is the perfect siege comp without any siege or any actual, like, point-blank melee units. You don't need these guys. Just build sergeants and crossbowmen. You can blow up every building. What has happened to the map, by the way? Faye is spamming so many castles. This is crazy. She's got great control. Yeah, I'm a little bit gutted that Faye is neglecting melee tech, but that's being fixed now. And remember that Elite Armor Tactics is great just for the Teutonic Knights front line. They've got 350 health now. These guys are up to 16 damage, 190 HP. And Louis... wait, no. But Louis, the mangonels don't work against the Axemen. Oh, this unit is actually a cack. Like, when I saw people saying they think it sucks or it's underwhelming, I kind of, like... I thought, really? Like, immediately thought, really? This is like a unit that breaks the mold. You can't use it for every situation. But given the right situations, these boys are a bit bonkers. And here's the problem now. Like, Louis relying on mangoes will at least deal the Genoese crossbows. However, those crossbowmen have a lot of range. 6.5, so difficult reach. The sergeants, however, are merely going to get tickled. They still have lower DPS? Sure, but this is a range unit. Like, it's, once again, this is what I mean by situational. You shouldn't often be able to just build sergeants and win unless you're completely outskilling your opponent. Hence why Faye admitted she needed Genoese crossbows. Credit to her, by the way, the crossbowmen actually haven't looked too bad this game. I honestly think that the crossbowmen have rated the most underwhelming unit. The only reason you see so much of Genoa as a choice is actually the Pilgrim goal. Oh, she's rocking them pretty well here. Oh, that's kind of a sick idea as well. Such high base damage, you can actually snipe mangoes. Love that. The repairs are going to be coming through just with crossbars in this way. Faye will probably wish that they'd actually given a Landsknecht option to the Knights Templar at this point, because that is a lot of men at arms. Am I the only one gutted that we didn't get the Mass Black Rider strat here? Okay, but, like, in fairness, Louis wanted to Mass Black Rider, had to pull away from it to something maybe a bit more standard or believable that Faye trained to be doing historically. And yet Faye is still winning. Faye should have capped the Sacred Site a few minutes ago. Yeah, about that. Oh my god. Can we respect the boiling oil? Sir, you do not have elite army tactics. And the Genoese crossbows are actually dating him. It's wasting his time. Oh my god. That's actually a lot of HP loss on the army. And remember, Louis MT, this means he could just immediately lose the follow-up fight and not be able to defend quick enough. Army is reacting now. They're going to be marching down. Louis MT. Big set on trying to get that castle kill. There are 11 villagers inside, so they could pull for a clutch repair, but it's going to be difficult. On top of that, check this. You've got all of the shots coming in from the fortress influence. There's arrow slits that are adding a lot of damage into this dive. Villagers going for the repair. Army reacts. And it looks like the castle should be going down, but Louis MT is going to lose the bulk of the army. Militarily now getting outnumbered, while also losing his own castle on the north side of the map. Man, great moves by Faye. I think this has been the story of the game so far. She just keeps playing the flanks really well. She's splitting the map up in a really frustrating way for Louis. And oh no, I lost my fortress. Anyway. Yeah, reminder by the way, when I say that these get arrow slits, I'm not kidding. So you've got the iron clamps, which is just to minimize the damage that things can do. But when we get close here, this one here, this one here, this one here, this one here. Like, these 5 wall pieces have got arrow slits. So if anyone wants to cheese people, I know some people in theory crafting the idea of like a castle rush, like fortress drop your opponent. Yes, but the way you win isn't the fortress itself, it's all the stone walls you build next to it. And agree, they do need to update it so it's clearer visually which ones have. Sniper villagers are trying to rush out. I mean, why are you even rushing an outpost against Axemen? This doesn't work. Even if you get inside, they are going to start destroying the building. What's the point? Oh, good, because apparently beating the crap out of an outpost isn't good enough. I will say that the Genoese crossbows are actually pretty sucky at sieging. The logic being is that they have a slower attack speed and they don't get more damage. But it's fine. That's what the axe throws are for. Oh my god, she's actually destroying a castle with these things. No. There is only one person with an actual torch out here, and this is working. Well, Louis going to be marching up. Yeah, genuinely, the whole point, like, I'm not exaggerating when I say there's no way to tell what has arrow slits other than when you're being shot. You'd have to click on the pieces to see the influence sign. By the way, you can get these emplacements at your TC as well. The influence exists on both both the Templar headquarters town center, the primary, and fortresses. Fortress, we do have a trebuchet on the way. Elite Army Tactics is finally there. Okay, yeah, Louis, this was a key tech missing for a very long time. He's getting ready to march out. Wait, no, get them on the wall. Get them on the wall. That's dirty. 7.5 tower range. And guys, axe throwers may be range units, but they do melee damage. So they're perfect snipers against mangoes. Oh, this is sick. She's just chasing it as well. She knows that they can't fight. It means the Genoese crossbowmen can win. However, there's a little bit of a muddied affair here. We'll invite them up onto the walls. Axe throwers, though, this is an insanely good trade. A little bit of overkill, but she should be able to get rid of most of the siege. More crossbowmen to follow this up. Teutonic Knights are arriving as well, providing that debuff. Feels like another fight that Louis just can't win. He's going to try to roll his mangoes in now, but not a clean target. And on top of that, this isn't even phase full army. She's getting ready to dive in the base on the opposite side of the map with one of the slowest compositions you can come up with. Yes, Faye. Freya is disgusted with phase strats, as you can hear in the background. There is no throwing in this game, except the axe throwing. She has full control. Louis is just going to kill himself diving this. The boiling oil's adding up. The crossbows are not dying quick enough. Yes, enjoy your crackers, darling. Go sit down and watch and eat them. I mean, I just don't think there's anything left for him here. MT went for a fast Imperial build, didn't really spam Black Riders, and just ended up on classic old men-at-arms spam. Shame on Faye, though. This is more unit diversity than she makes in 90% of her games. I am disappointed. In fairness to her, to give her credit, though, she beat him using only the unique units from her landmark choices. Like, legitimately, these guys are pretty decent siege snipers. I'm curious to see how they function against Springles in particular. Because technically Springles counter them, but with the melee damage, they get countered in return. For sure, though, he's been countered and neutered in this game.